home all through New Year, but I might travel by the second week in January.
Okay. Where are you going? Out of the country?
Out of the country, I'll go to Nigeria.
Yeah. For a long time?
Well, for about 10 days. I need to get back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go by yourself?
Yes, I'm going by myself. Last year we all went together, too expensive. So this time I'm going by myself.
Yeah.
How
You
about
have
you?
relatives there?
I'm sorry?
You have relatives that are there?
Yes, I do have.
Yeah.
Yes. Still have, well, some couple of sisters and a brother.
Okay. So you'll get to see them?
Yes.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. I try to do it once every now and then, you know.
Yeah. Now, all of your kids going to be home?
Well, except one, okay, that is in Houston. He moved to Houston. So he was just here for Thanksgiving. He couldn't come back for Christmas.
Yeah. Okay.
But otherwise, everybody else will be home.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You can always Zoom with them, right? Or FaceTime or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How about you, Ed? You're going to be around the grandkids coming?
I'll be at my house on Christmas Eve, you know, and all the family and some friends over. And then on Christmas Day, I'll be at my in-laws for dinner.
Okay.
But that's just in Dracut, so it's not a.
It's not a long
ride.
It's not a commute.
Yeah. It'd be good. It's nice when it's over the weekend, I guess, right? You get.
I know, and if you know, it falls right around the weekend, so it gives it a good vibe, you know, instead of middle of the week for Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, that's right.
I hope the guys are not hearing us.
Well, they probably are, but there doesn't seem like there's that many people on yet.
Oh, really?
Well, from what I'm looking at it, I don't
good evening, everyone.
So
yeah,
yeah.
Got it now. I hope we'll have a quorum.
Well,
it looks like in the mayor's
Senator,
reception
can you
room,
guys hear us?
maybe half a dozen people or so.
Nope.
I see one, two.
Should I do this? Senator.
Yes.
there you are. Mr. O'Para, what are you doing?
Hi, Connor.
All right, we're gonna have the meeting come to order. December 1st, 2023 School Building Committee meeting. It is 6 o'clock. Roll call.
Manager Golden.
Here.
Michael Vaughn. Here. Eileen Del Rossi. Liam Skinner. Richard Underwood. Michael Fiato. Here. Connor Baldwin.
Here.
Mark Byrne. Here. James Hall. Mayor Chow. David Peasley. William Samaras. Senator Kennedy. Councilor Leahy. Representative Elliott. Mary Ann Manzi.
Hello.
Got it. Again on Mary Manson.
Here. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Jay Mason. Maria Sheehy. Benjamin Opara.
Yeah.
Erica Harvey. John Haley. Paul St. Cyr.
Excellent. Thank you all very much for being here.
I'd like to.
Yes. Mr. Fred Bahu, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. And we also want to recognize State Representative Vanna.
Thank you very much for joining us and all. And of course, and City Councilor John Lee. Thank you very much, Council, for being here. So at this point, if we can go through the acceptance of the minutes, if everyone can take a moment, make sure that all is well. If there's any reason to make any amendments or accept. So the acceptance of the minutes from October 19th, if you could take a moment just to review them and let me know if there's any corrections. Yep, everybody should have been emailed out.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second? Seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Minutes have been accepted. Thank you very much. At this point, we're going to kick everything over to Skanska. Mr. Dowd, I think that Jim's going to be controlling pretty much practically everything tonight. And then we're going to have some business at the conclusion of Mr. Dowd's comments. Mr. Dowd.
Good evening. Yes, our colleagues from Suffolk are all either sick or on vacation, so I will be taking their portion this evening. Moving to the first slide, if we can, Mr. Baldwin.
Bear with us while we have a technical difficulty here.
There you go. I think if you get to that arrow on the side, one more swipe.
All righty, we seem to have gotten over our technical difficulty. Somewhat. These are finance guys, not
Just leave it in that view.
There you go. No, you got to do the swipe again. So I want to thank everyone. Merry Christmas for being here. Mr. Dowd, I mean, could you please get moving here, sir?
Well, so the completing the facade work at Building F, they are well on track for that. We'll have a picture coming up in a later slide if we can get to it with showing the north facade nearly complete. They are now working on the brick on the south facade and the west facade, which is the Arcan Drive side, brick going up there, and on Building F, the new freshman academy, all the curtain wall, which is the glass, is complete. Elevator work, which is always a critical item, is complete in Building F, and the crew is now on Building D, which is the cafeteria. That's the elevator that is for the servery area, which will move the food from the first to the second floor where the freshman academy, where the freshman cafeteria will eventually be. Drywall work is nearly complete in the freshman academy with the exception of the first floor, and the crew is now over in Building D. They're also beginning some demolition work in Building C, which is the west side of the 1980s building that is under construction, and there is additional wind bracing going into the existing structure to get things up to code, or current code. Complete in January, they'll be looking at completing the facade, which is the brickwork in Building D. The glass is nearly complete in Building D. Facade work at Building C, which is the west side of the 1980s building, that will be getting all new windows and some brickwork there. And the infiltration system in the quad, currently on the along Father Morissette Boulevard, there's a rainwater infiltration system being installed, and there will be an even larger one in the quad area. That is so the rainwater from the roofs avoid that going into the existing sewer system. And then they will be beginning the hardscapes, which is the sidewalks and other ramps around the building for Phase 2. If we could move on.
One question about the windows. Do they open and close and they're awning windows, or are they all just all fixed windows throughout the
There are question was, are the windows operable? And yes, there are some windows that are operable, and they push out. When we go into other phases, there'll be the double hung where they go straight up and down. They are limited to 4-inch openings for safety, however, but there are operable windows in every classroom in other locations. You're welcome. Moving on, this view is from just about on the tracks to the corner of the cafeteria along the canal. As you can see, a great deal of glass, so there'll be a great view out of the cafeteria and the second floor of what we call D building onto the canal. And if we can move on to the next slide. This is the new bridge over the canal. The south side of the bridge just had the glass installed in the last few days. The glass on the other side will be going in next week. Suffolk is timing this work on the far side where there's more students to avoid working over them, because we don't want to be swinging anything over the students. So the timing is geared around safety. Question, Mr. Samaras?
Can you speak to, I heard that the bridge is wider, and you also have air conditioning and heat in this?
The bridges are wider, and there are air conditioning and heat, much improved from the old, what they were called tunnels. And I think they'll be called bridges
I was
now.
talking to the head of school, and
Not tunnels.
it used to be,
Fiato across the bridge today.
yeah, it had the climate, whatever climate was outside was in the tunnel.
Yes, that is not going to be the case. There is a full.
No, I think people should hear this.
There's
I
a
think it's
full
important.
HVAC system for heating and cooling in the bridges.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. On to the next slide. This is the millwork and cabinetry in one of the labs in what will be the new freshman academy. That building has 8 labs, 2 labs on each floor for floors 2 through 5. It's progressing well. This is the tile work going on in the freshman academy. That is also progressing well in the hallways and in the restrooms, and now they're moving to the stairwells with the tile work. This is a view of the structure for phase 2. Some of the work you're going to see over the upcoming break is the top of the 1922 building, which is the top right corner here, for the mechanical systems that will go in next year on the top of the 1922 building. There's going to be a good amount of steel going in to support those. So over break, the existing, what is referred to as a doghouse on the roof of the 1922, that will be taken down next week during the school break. You'll also see a lot of work on the South Bridge. There's a crane in place there over break, as well as over break in the 1980s building on all 3 floors. The corridors on the west side of the building and the south end of the building, those become part of the occupied building in the next summer. So there's a lot of work going on in there over break, because that's one zone that doesn't cross over. What's occupied now is going to be occupied next year, so there's really no break to of those areas being occupied for work to go on. So it's going to go on over breaks, and there'll be a great deal of work going on over the summer. Can move on to MBE, WBE for Suffolk. The minority workforce, the goal was 15.3%. That has been well exceeded at 23.9%. The female workforce, the goal was 6.9%. It's currently at 4.3%. And I'll also like to point out Lowell residents, 10.4% of all the hours logged have been by Lowell residents on the project. Move on to designer update. We didn't have any items directly to discuss at this meeting, but Perkins Eastman is available for questions should you have any.
All right, Mr. Skinner. Superintendent, if you could just turn your microphone on, please.
Thank you.
And to our friends at home, hopefully you can now see the Part 4 budget.
Jim, I'm wondering if we might consider an accommodation to deal with an issue in the gymnasium. I know that's not a current, and I know it's considered to be finished. The bleachers in the gymnasium cannot be open for a track meet because they would cover the track. So no spectators can watch a track meet, or very, very few. Right, there's no space for spectators. There's no place for spectators. So I was at a track meet recently, and it's just it's not sure how is that meant to work. Can we consider some sort of an accommodation so there can be spectators at a track meet?
I will refer that question to Perkins Eastman. I know we have some mobile bleachers. I don't know if we can do something there, but.
Hi, so gymnasiums and MSBA sizes are in conflict with operations. And so while we have a very large gymnasium, we met our capacity of what we could make it at. So during design, when we were asked to include a track, we notified the school that the design would not have outside the ring bleacher space. It just wasn't available. But there are mobile bleachers, and the thought is, depending on how you do the track meet, could bleachers not move into the circle? And so you watch it from the inside. But it was not in the design process, it was not the top criteria.
Are you suggesting that we in Lowell decided to forego the bleachers because of the size of the gym we wanted to have?
When things are prioritized, I would say yes. That was not the priority.
I'm trying to be clear that we signed off on this.
The school approved the plans that we submitted, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Samaras?
Didn't we face limitations as to how big the gym?
Mr. Samaras? Thank you, sir.
Green is on and red is off, right? Thank you, John. One of those days. When we were asking for the gymnasium, we wanted something a little bit bigger, but the MSBA, in a sense, doesn't build tracks and whatever, correct? So the thing is, what we had was the largest we can have. The thing is, I think what you'll find is, in the Merrimack Valley, most of the gymnasiums, they have portable tracks in the middle of the rink, so to speak. And that seems to be the standard. But I just don't understand why the MSBA takes those stands regarding size. You know, a school like Lowell High School should have a complete track and the stands to go around it. So I think that's all we can do are the bleachers, correct? Are the portable bleachers at this point?
That is correct, Mr. Samaras. We increased the gym as large as we possibly could, and we did that by moving other program into the space rather than creating small spaces for those programs. So we maximized the gym size that we could possibly do within MSBA's limitations.
Yeah. No, I just, I think this is where the MSBA really falls flat on helping schools, especially schools the size of Lowell. If you look, and I think Superintendent Skinner realizes that a lot of our track teams now, they have to go to Boston to the Reggie Lewis Center or the New Balance Center to have their track meets. Nothing, there's nothing in the area that meets those requirements. So it's kind of disappointing. Thank you.
Mr. Byrne?
Yeah.
And then followed by Mr. Bahu.
A question that I have through, I think, the architect. So just to follow up on a question, the bleachers, the portable bleachers, what's the seating capacity for the portable bleachers right now? And the second part of the question is, how mobile or easy are they to move for staffing?
So I don't remember the capacity of the bleachers, whether the mobile or the fixed ones, but I can get it for you. I just would have to look up the drawings. I know that we tried to get as many. The previous athletic director had a lot of requests to try and get as many in for basketball and other center space events. So, and then as for the ease of mobility, I think Jim actually participated in an exercise, so he could speak better than I could.
They are movable. It does take some effort, which we worked with the facilities department, and it was determined to be a reasonable amount of effort. It took 4 or 5 of us. We did an experiment a few weeks ago on a half day, and we moved them around. Once you get them going, you can get them where you want them to go. We actually found a few things that we're having the manufacturer address. I think a couple things needed to be tweaked, but we were with the Ricky Underwood and custodians and myself and another person from Scancer. We were moving them around readily. Mr. Bahu?
Sure. Mr. Dowd, as far as the mobile bleachers go, are they going to be on the basketball floor? Is that where we're going to place them in order to have parents watch a track meet?
I believe what Ms. Greenwood was speaking to was there's basically a half moon at each end of the each end of the basketball court where they would still be on the rubber Mondo floor at each end.
Okay, and where would we store them? They've got to be pretty cumbersome. Is that correct? Are they on the far ends, on the 2 half moon sides?
They're currently stored on the north wall at the 2 far ends. So they're in fact the half moon area is where we open them up for a trial. We push them out there, and that just ends up where we opened them up a few weeks ago.
Okay, and then final questions. We spoke offline about this, but I just want to share it. I know the school had a pep rally recently, and they pulled out the bleachers. When they did pull out the bleachers, it did cause a rip in the new track and in the flooring. So how is that going to be addressed so that we can use the bleachers whenever we'd like to?
We have been working with the vendor and the manufacturer. I spoke with the manufacturer, and I know Perkins Eastman has had further discussions with the manufacturer, and I'll let Joe speak to that.
So, yeah, in addition to Skanska in Suffolk reaching out to the manufacturer, the designer, Perkins Eastman has reached out to them as well. We're getting feedback from the CEO of the manufacturing company who made the bleachers, and they're working on a solution to improve the situation. And there are a number of different ideas that they've been kicking around. We don't have an option yet to share with you, but once we do, we will communicate that back.
And as far as the flooring that's ripped?
Yeah, that would be replaced.
That's going to be replaced. Not the whole floor, but a portion, is that correct?
Portion, yeah. And I think one of the things that Robin had mentioned earlier that maybe didn't come through, she had mentioned it to me, I just want to make sure everyone here knew, is that we do have a cover that goes over the wood gym floor. So when bleachers are placed in the center, and there's a couple of configurations that we've worked out that we shared with the school, so it's not just one location. There are a number of locations that you could configure, and that's dependent upon. but there is a cover that goes over the wood floor to protect the wood floor from the bleachers.
The rips that took place the Wednesday before Thanksgiving for the pep rally, it ended up Suffolk had the flooring company scheduled for some repairs on that floor on Friday after Thanksgiving, and they had enough material with them that they repaired all of the locations that were ripped on that Wednesday.
Okay, so they're all repaired.
They were repaired 2 days later.
And we won't be using the bleachers until we can come up with some better configuration to roll them out.
The bleachers are still being used, and they haven't had any issues that I've been informed of in the last couple of weeks. But again, the project team is exploring long-term solutions so that doesn't happen again.
Any other questions in regards to the bleachers and Mr. Dowd?
Move on to the budget summary. So, as always, the contingency is the one moving number that we're always keeping an eye on. Contingency $21.2 million. We are down to $17 remaining. Change orders are always an active part of the project, and we keep a very close eye on those and give them a close review, and we are in a comfortable spot right now. We are getting into a more difficult portion of the job with the renovations coming up for the second half, so we are going to continue to monitor that, but we're at a good place. Moving on to the next slide. The invoices for the month of November were $8.4 million, which is a significant increase from other months and reflects the amount of work being put in place. If you also look at the workforce, the number of workers on site daily has increased significantly with the amount of work going into place. There's been a note at the bottom of this budget about the MSBA budget at still remaining at the $343 million. The official increase via what's called a PFA bid amendment. We received the draft of that from the MSBA last week. We have reviewed that. We had a couple questions that we spoke with the MSBA about today, and we have a path going forward. They are going to issue that PFA bid amendment in the next week for signature by the city, which will increase the budget to $381.9 million, which was approved by the city council, I believe, about a year and a half ago. There will then be another PFA bid amendment issuing from the MSBA for the increase in funding. And speaking with the MSBA today, they did not know what that amount would be for Lowell, but they are working on that issuing. We then have a budget revision request. We'll be changing. We'll be moving money we assigned to increasing the FF&E budget. We'll have to do that via a budget revision request with the MSBA after those two amendments issue.
Any questions in regards to the budget at this time? Senator Kennedy, you all set? He's on mute. Senator, you could be muted on your side, sir. Senator Kennedy. Senator Kennedy. Yes. All right, go right ahead, sir. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay.
I just wanted to say, if people might remember that there were several items that we had with the MSBA. The swimming pool was one, the size of the auditorium was one, but I'm wondering if the bleachers that are there now that would be permanent bleachers are retracted, would we be able to put portable bleachers in their place and just have maybe 2 or 3 rows of bleachers? I think that would be better than having them out in the middle of the track. They'd still be on the side. Would that be an option that we might look into? In any rate, in any event, I think that the solution to the bleacher problem is one that's probably going to require some investigation to see what's out there as a replacement.
And yes, and we are working with the bleacher manufacturers for all the options that they have.
Excellent. Any other questions in regards to the budget? Any other questions? Seeing none. Mr. Dowd, next piece.
I believe the next item is next steps. Next steps are we said at the last meeting the goal was to get the building tight for the winter, and Suffolk has accomplished that with the glass in the facade. There are a couple minor areas that attempt in, but all in all, the building is tight for the winter, which is a great accomplishment. All of the finishes on the inside are proceeding, and the next big step, as I spoke of earlier, is work over breaks and over some nights in the 1980s corridors, which will be occupied in the new part of the building. That's the crossover area that never goes offline. That's the next big step. And can open it up to questions.
Any questions in regards to closures? I know we'll have some street closures that have been pretty much put out there, posted.
We will have street closures over the break for the demolition of the doghouse on the top of the 1922 building. There will be a crane in Kirk Street next week. So Kirk Street will be, you'll be able to come from Merrimack, take a right on a Lee, but you won't, it'll be closed off for the northern portion from Lee to French Street over the break with a crane daily working on the roof of 1922. There's also a crane in Lucy Larkham Park. So the whole length of the high school at Lucy Larkham Park will be shut down for the crane work of putting all the glass, finishing the glass on the south side of the bridge, and installing all of the glass on the north side of the bridge.
Excellent. I'm going to be calling on Senator Kennedy in a moment. Mr. Byrne.
I'm sorry, I apologize for not asking the question during the budget term. But so the budget is now $381,967, and originally it was $343 because of the escalating cost of equipment or whatever we needed to buy, because I believe the contractors came back because of the during COVID and the supply chain issues. So I know that Senator Kennedy was able to secure some funding through the state budget or through MSBA. Where is that funding? Is it 40 million? And of the 40 million, if it is 40 million, I'm just throwing that number there. Are we under the guidelines that we got to stay within the 80% of that 40 million? So that we'd only get 32 million out of that if we put it through the MSBA process funding?
The budget is being amended with the first PFA bid amendment from the MSBA to the $381.9 million. Part of the PFA budget is the maximum total facilities grant, which is currently 250. I don't have the document in front of me. $250 million is the maximum total facilities grant. When the budget increased by the city, the $38.5 million, that $250 million maximum facilities grant did not move. because the MSBA doesn't, when your original project funding agreement, that maximum facilities grant doesn't move. My understanding is with that additional funding from the legislature, that $250 million ceiling will move up. We don't know how much that will move up. I know there are, I believe it's 31 districts that are eligible for the increase from that funding from the legislature.
Anything to add on that, Senator?
So it is $250 million. I think it's 30 school districts actually, but there was money in there for every school district, with Lowell getting the most. And the amount escapes me right now, but it was in the vicinity of about $32 million that was going to be extra. And that was the way that would come would be was through the MSBA. It was an agreement with the state treasurer on how the money would be dispersed. But in order for communities to access that money, they had to go through the MSBA. And it was my understanding that by now, the MSBA had probably notified all 30 of those communities, including Lowell, as to how to go about securing those funds. Is that not the case? Is that not happening with Lowell?
No, we were notified, and I double checked with them that we didn't have to submit anything or take any action to be eligible, and they said the fact that we were notified we were already eligible. We didn't have to reach out for the funds, and they informed me today that they are drafting a second PFA amendment that will reflect those funds, but they did not have the exact amounts available for me.
Well, but you still needed to apply for the funds, was my understanding that was the agreement with the MSBA. But that they should have sent notification to all 30 of the school districts about telling them that they needed to do that and how they should go about it. But, maybe we won't take care of it right now, but I'll give you a call tomorrow offline, and maybe we can talk about it tomorrow if there's a problem with that. But there shouldn't be a problem. And as I said, Lowell's portion of that was in somewhere in the vicinity of about $32 million.
I don't. There's a problem because they told me they would be issuing the documentation for what the increase will be in the next month or so, and that they're already drafting that increase.
My district that are also looking for money. Tingsboro is looking for, and they're supposed to get, I think, a little over $4 million, and they've been in contact with the MSBA, and the MSBA is in contact with them about how they go about securing that money. I would expect the same thing would be happening for Lowell. And then the one additional district out in Dunstable and Groton also, they were short dough, and so they were supposed to get some money as well.
Excellent. We'll follow up on that, but I feel pretty confident.
Please reach out to me tomorrow. We can discuss further.
Great. Any thoughts, concerns, questions? Councilor Leahy.
Thank you. This is more directed to the high school. So you're happy with construction as of now, and disruptions are minimal and outside safe, and just to get your thoughts to make sure we're all on track for the safety of everyone.
Thanks for asking that question. We've had very minimal disruption to the school day. When and if there's events that disrupt the school day, which again have been very minimal this year, been able to contact Jim and his team, and it's been addressed immediately within minutes. Every now and then I'll get a teacher might say, text me, there's banging going on. That's very rare, but it does happen. And when it does, it's addressed immediately. Jim and his team will come down and go right down to the site and speak to the crew, and it's dealt with. As far as outside or student travel, there's been relatively no impact. Their team are very professional. They go in and out early in the morning when they're arriving. They go right to the work site. They stay at the work site, and they only come in into the main campus, the 80s building or the 22, if they have business to take care of, and they always check in with us first.
No, that's good to hear. I just want to make sure that everybody realizes, you're running a safe operation, and high school's happy, and traffic seems to be really not disrupted much, so.
Yep.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns in regards to this committee hearing that's happening right now? Once again, any other thoughts, concerns in regards to Lowell High renovations? Seeing none. Senator Kennedy, you have a motion on the floor.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the committee accept Representative Vanna Howard as an additional member of this committee, a permanent member of this committee. I think that with her addition to the committee, the entire delegation will be on the committee, but also too, I think the high school is in Representative Howard's district, and I know she's very interested in being a permanent member of the committee. So I'd like to, I don't know whether that's something that requires a vote of this committee or whether that's an initiative that you can take on your own, Mr. Manager, but I think that Representative Howard would be a welcome addition to this committee.
Senator Kennedy has a motion on the floor to accept Representative Howard as a member. Do I see a second? Do I see many seconds? Many seconds. We're going to give that to Captain Peasley on the second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none. I'd entertain a vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Seeing none opposed? All in favor? Representative Howard, you'll be joining us every meeting, we hope, to see you, and thank you very much. Great. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Senator Kennedy for filing the motion, and thank you to every committee members for accepting the motion. And I look forward to many discussions on the school building project. I've been following it since the beginning, since 2016. And so yes, and having a son that just finished from graduation from Lowell High. So this is a near and dear to my heart, this project. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Welcome aboard. Before we close up, once again, last round of questions, thoughts, concerns. Questions, thoughts, concerns. Last call for questions, thoughts, concerns. On behalf of the administration, I see none. Mr. Dowd, you good?
I would note that we have reserved this meeting place in advance this year, and the next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February 15th at 6 p.m.
So once again, Thursday.
February 15th.
February 15th at 6 p.m. Thursday, February 15th at 6 p.m. Thank you very much. On behalf of the administration, on behalf of all the committee members here in the school building committee, we want to say thank you all very much for your time. 2023, we've seen a lot of changes to Mr. Dowd and to your entire team. We want to say thank you very much. Working with Mr. Fiato day in and day out, we had this discussion. It's excellent news to know that the lines of communication are consistently open, and when there happens to be something that might be awry, that Mr. Dowd, you and your team are there to rectify any situation or any problem. So once again, on behalf of myself and the entire city, I want to say thank you very much to all of the committee members. I want to wish each and every one of you a happy holiday, and we will be coming back together for another successful year starting in 2024. Thank you all very much. I will accept a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. So moved by Mr. Samaras, seconded by Mr. St. Cyr. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No opposed? Thank you all very much. Happy holidays to everybody listening, and thank you again, Mr. Dowd, for you and your team and all your professionalism. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.